So, moving on to today's notes, we're going to talk about some more vocab words. Do you guys know what a control group is? Yeah. But control groups can sometimes have something done to them as like a baseline. So like, let's say I want to like study changing the school lunch. I could feed my control group normal school lunch, and then like test the effects of changing it. So sometimes control groups can still have stuff. Every day that bell gets me. Okay, so do you guys know what a placebo effect is? Yeah, Chris?
It's when you give them like a, well, in like science, sugar tablets, and they still show effects of like actual
Yeah. You also see this in little kids when they like hurt themselves and they ask you to put a Band-Aid and everything feels better. Even if like whatever happened to them, a Band-Aid doesn't really fix.
Or if like a little kid falls and they make sure somebody's watching.
But he was so angry when he was saying it, so I was like, it sounds like he's done this before.
I was like, goes into really specific detail. It's like when you're 8 years old and you accidentally fall at Skyline Park.
It really looks like it's spelled weird to me. What? Who are you asking me?
Or I'm just putting it out there.
How do you know that?
I'm just guessing. It looks like an
Okay, what does it mean to be double blind?
Like, I know.
Chris?
Both people in the seeker affect one instrument and the one in the subject don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's still people that know, but
Yeah. So like, let's say I'm designing I cannot talk. I'm designing an experiment, and you guys are going to carry out the experiment on other people in the school. So I know whether you're really doing the real one or the fake one, but you don't.
and so
And the people, obviously, that you're giving it to don't. Ah, I wanted to say neither the.
Whoa.
Oh, before I forget, I can't do tutoring after school tomorrow because I have a NCC training for dual enrollment teachers. But I can't do tutoring today. Today, yes. Tomorrow, no. After school. I can do tomorrow before school. Until the end of next week.
Is there like a certain time? Like if you come like tomorrow morning for tutoring, do you have to take the
You still have to take it by the end of next week, but
Well, yeah.
you can come in like whenever you
You
want.
can come in for tutoring and then like 3 days later take it.
Mhm.
I just know once you can't, you have like 2 days.
Yeah.
Single boy.
Okay, so single blind.
No.
What was that, Autumn? Okay, the subjects don't know, or yeah, yeah. So either one doesn't know. So what do you think random assignments are? Yep, you're randomly assigned a treatment based on chance. Okay. Control? What? Okay. So this is a little bit different from the control group. This is keeping everything else the same for everyone. So let's say I was doing my lunch survey that I was going to do earlier. If my control group was eating the school food as it is right now, and then everyone else is eating the new food, I would want to make sure that like they're eating it at the same time of day kind of thing, where it's everything else is the same for everyone. And then replication is using enough experimental units to distinguish a difference in the effects of the treatments from chance variation. So just making sure I have enough subjects to test on, basically. Okay. So let's say we were going to design an actual experiment and we wanted to see if caffeine affects pulse rate. So our plan is to measure everyone's pulse rate before we start, give every student some caffeine, and then wait for some time, and then measure the final pulse rate. What are some problems with my plan? Yep. Any other problems you see? Well, I don't know that. So, any other problems though? Okay. So like, sit still or like run around? Okay. Anything else? Okay, but if I'm randomly assigning people, wouldn't that kind of affect, like, or count for, like, if, like, half of you had coffee for breakfast? I said half. Eh, okay.
That's a real. So I can do that all. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but think about this. So, like, if we're asking everyone in the class, everyone should roughly be a good mix of it. So I should have half the people in one group represented. So, yeah. That's the reason I want a control group, is to count for stuff like that. Okay. So, what other variables are likely to be a source of variability in pulse rates? So this is going back to what Chris just said. How would I phrase that? Previous health conditions? Anything else?
I've never been to soda,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Well, I haven't. Like
Mm-hmm.
so whenever I do have caffeine, which rarely, it affects my life.
Okay, so like tolerance to caffeine? Okay.
We grinded out this essay. Hey.
Okay,
It's like
So-
lunch, you just put a scoop in your own lunch.
since I hear a lot of talking, I feel we can move on.
Yeah.
So we can solve these problems with comparison, blinding, random assignment, control, and replication. Why is blindness important in this study?
So that people don't have the reaction like that they think they're supposed to have.
Yeah, so people don't have the reaction they think they're supposed to have. So like if I gave half of you coffee and half of you water, those people who got coffee would obviously know it's coffee and think they're supposed to get higher pulse rates. was gonna say blood rates. Okay, so if we were really going to do this, how would we randomly assign people to the treatments? Okay, so I could use an SRS. Wait. If I'm going to use an SRS, I need to number each participant. N. So what does it mean to control other variables? Okay, so I want to keep the other variables constant for both groups. And why would I want to control the other variables? Okay. And then also, it makes it more of an experiment and less of an observation. So I control for confounding variables as well. Okay, so I just have a summary that goes over everything. So when we use comparison, blinding, random assignment, controlled variables, and replication, each treatment group should be about the same besides whatever I'm testing for. If, for example, caffeine does show an effect on pulse rates, then I can clearly see it once I've controlled for everything else. So once I've made sure that everyone didn't drink a shot of coffee before they came to class, I could go ahead with this. And then I have at the bottom of this page, principles of experiment. Oh, I wanted to leave that up though. The last one, in case people were still writing. At the bottom of this page, I have principles of experimental design. So these are the 4 things you want to make sure when you're creating an experiment that you have. You want to be able to compare 2 or more treatments, if one's a baseline or if one's like my lunch example where everyone's getting regular school lunch and someone's getting the new school lunch. You want to make sure you randomly assign people somehow. And it's by chance. It's not just me being like, you're my favorite 10 people, you do this, and then you want to control, so make sure everything stays the same, that you're not testing. So if I was going to do this, something someone had said was to make sure that half the people aren't running around the room and half of them are sitting still, because that's something else that can affect it. And then replication is to make sure I use enough participants or repeat the study again so that I can prove that it happens frequently with large numbers of people. So questions there?